Ryan, 15 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford 13. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Cloudy, breezy, 38 today. Clearing, breezy overnight, low 35. 29 officially at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, good morning, and I think I've got it.
Okay.
I've got our mask campaign slogan.
Do we need a drum roll?
Well, this is why I lead the messaging session, and we rely on our talented listeners to contribute, because it was starting to form with forced unity, with conformity, and some of the other suggestions from our callers. I think I've got it.
Okay.
It's more simple than even placebo, which is very good. My previous hour.
Thank you, Justin.
The mask slogan to unprogram the COVID cultists is don't think, follow. Isn't that elegant?
That's perfect. You know what? That nails it. Don't think, follow.
Don't think, period, follow, period. I like it. I'm going to get a few hundred made up, and we're going to start distributing them, because we this has to be, and maybe we should all dress like Slim Shady. So it's like a whole group. We all wear blue jeans and a white T-shirt like Eminem back in the day.
Yeah.
So that we're, the whole army of people trying to bring our fellow Americans back to rationality.
Yeah, we can wear them at our event in Lake Geneva in March.
Okay.
March 20th. By the way, we still have tickets. Go to am560.com.
Well, it's not our job to save Western civilization. We're just going to do it.
Good.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're about on this show. Speaking of which, it's also our job to drive home the point of what so many of these, even unpaid local politicians, which is what so many of them become when they ascend to the heights of a school board. This rather remarkable Zoom call that featured school board members for Oakley Union Elementary School Board in California. This is what they had to say when they thought their Zoom call was on private. They thought it was. This is what they had to say about parents who were complaining about pedestrian matters like their kids' education.
I honestly don't care about that part, but you know what? Are we alone?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Keep talking.
If you're going to call me out, I'm going to you up. Sorry, that's just me.
They forget that there's real people on the other side of those letters that they're writing.
Yes.
We're real community members. We have kids or have known kids that have gone to these schools.
Right.
Have a vested interest in this process, and they don't know what we do behind the scenes. And it's really unfortunate that they want to pick on us because they want their babysitters back.
Right. Right.
That's how I feel.
I agree, and it's fine. It's just I just need to get up.
I totally hear that because my brother had a delivery. Yeah, my brother had a delivery service for medical marijuana. The high clientele were parents with their kids in school.
Okay. Uh-oh. Laura Lanier, just FYI, you guys have the meeting. Oh, we have the meeting open to the public right now.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Uh-oh, is this on?
That's what Laura just said.
Oh, no.
Tree.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. Well, what
Oh.
happened when this got out that they think all the parents in their district are potheads who want somebody else to babysit their kid is that all those board members you just heard, the 4 of them resigned.
Gone. Smart thing to do. But also, the one board member, the lovely lady who said, I'm going to blank you up, F you up. She was held to test because one of the parents said, well, you're going to parties all the time during this pandemic, but you won't let our kids go to school. So that's where that came from that.
There's a couple other things. One is this idea, you don't know what we're doing behind the scenes. I'll tell you what.
They're doing nothing.
No. Well, tell me. Tell me what you're doing behind the scenes. What you don't understand what we go through. Communicate it. Is it a secret? You're a school board member. You're an elected official. Tell me everything you're doing and the basis for it. I'm willing to listen. What do you got? Defend your position. You don't get to say, this is my position, and you don't understand it, so I'm not going to explain it. No, which is the position they take. They're the aggrieved party. They're the besieged party. I'm doing so much, you just don't see it. You don't understand it. Well, lay it bare for all to see. We're here. You got an audience. That's number one. Number two, the whole babysitter thing. Good observation from Brown University's Emily Oster. School is serving 2 roles. It is a child care solution, and it is teaching people to learn. The idea of, we're not babysitters. Actually, you are in part, and there's nothing wrong with that. She goes on to say, I found it a little disrespectful to people. What's wrong with having part of your job be child care? That's a totally reasonable job. But the other thing is, it's not really fair to say to parents, can't you take care of your own kid when you told me I have to put my kid in school 8 hours a day? That's the law. It's a law that my kid has to be in school, and now you're telling me that the expectation should also be that I'm free for all that time, even though I'm legally required to not have my kid here. So it's odd that we've set up this whole system in which people are required to go to school, and then we're to be like, well, school's not your child care. Actually, you told me it has to be my child care under force of law, didn't you? It's a great point she brings up. But that is the affliction of those who believe they are on some pedestal because they are your temporary representative. And you see it manifest itself, obviously, at the highest levels of public office. But again, if you pay attention to what's going on in your village or your school district, you will find that same
attitude.
Absolutely. You will find that same attitude and some of that same behavior, not everywhere and not by all the members, but you'll find it too often present.
A lot of them think they're God. I can't stand it.
This is why there's a disconnect. This is why there's a disconnect between what you think is happening and what is actually happening. Who you thought was in control of your kid's education and who actually is. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Emily Erickson. She is in Geneva 304 School District, and she's part of the Get Back to School campaign out Western Suburban Way. Emily, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, thanks for having me, Dan and Amy. I'm a longtime listener.
Oh, great. Well, it's a pleasure to have you. So tell us about Get Back to School in the Geneva School District. I thought the kids were back to school.
Yeah. Actually, we were presented in the beginning of the year with a hybrid schedule, meaning that, our kids were going to school 2 days a week and then alternating every other Fridays. At the beginning of the year, we were proud. We were, excited and almost in disbelief that we were one of the few schools that had a portion of our school in-person learning. And then enter the middle of the year after we had like this adaptive pause that the state had granted a few days that the district came in and said the teachers need some extra planning. We're going to have half day at home synchronous learning temporarily, and then the second half of the day would be time for the teachers to, have extra planning time, et cetera. We accepted it, no problem. All right, we'll go with the flow. We want to be easygoing. And then come December, the board met, and January 11th, they announced that going forward, Fridays would now no longer be in person, and we would be at home doing synchronous learning for the remainder of the year. Well, that was basically the wake-up call and got us parents motivated and moving to say this is not acceptable anymore. We can't sit back and be quiet. We need some answers. We need a plan. We need to get our kids back in school.
Well, Emily, how are you guys fighting back? What are you doing?
Many things at this point. Basically, we're urging people. We have kind of a core group of parents that are organizing, an ever-growing group of parents and community members to reach out to the board. We're asking them to, write letters to both the board members, our city officials, state representatives, the governor. We're hosting actually a rally before our board meeting tonight from 5:30 to 6:30, urging parents to come out and support the movement to get our kids back in school. Kind of not a crazy concept, right?
I mean, this is not particular to you, but it obviously includes you in Geneva 304. You're also 6 weeks from an election. 6 weeks from local elections. And so this is, everything that's transpired over the last year, you would think people would pay perhaps more attention to their municipal elections, which include school boards, and maybe field some candidates if you don't like the representation you're getting from your current school board.
Absolutely. And that, unfortunately, we're a little late to the game, everybody getting riled up. And we have since had a lot of people say that even though it's closed, to get yourself on the ballot, whether or not you try to get a write-in ballot, or if not this election, I know we are definitely have a lot of parents interested come the next election.
And you have a first grader and a fourth grader. How are your kids doing?
It's interesting. It's changed throughout all this. My first grader, in the beginning, well, I think all kids at the end of last year were like, "Ooh, this is fun. We're at vacation." But that novelty slowly wore off. And in the beginning of the year, my daughter struggled just a little bit, just throwing temper tantrums. She's the first grader. I don't want to work. I don't want to do this. And, it was the argument back and forth. Well, I'm not assigning this to you, and you have to do this. Would you act this way to your teacher? Yada, yada. The same thing so many parents are going through. She has since turned around. She's doing fairly well. My son, on the other hand, struggles. It's a constant fight to get him to focus, pay attention, stay on track. It's a nightmare. I mean, the dynamic in the house and in so many households are just, they're destroying our kids.
And so, by the way, no less a canonized member of the left than Andrew Cuomo said on Friday, students deserve in-class teaching. He repeated that. Students deserve in-class teaching. This is the new mantra of so many on the left who are under siege. And I wonder what the response has been to that position, which I think you take and many parents who are part of this Get Back to School movement Geneva Way take. What's been the response from the superintendent and the school board?
I think the silence that we've gotten from them is the most frustrating part, and it makes us question what is really going on. Basically, all we're trying to do is urge them to have a clear and open and frequent communication with the public, define a plan, tell us what the roadblocks are, and, how they're addressing them and how long it will take to resolve them. We want our Fridays back. We want an option for a 5-day in-person learning this year. And at the end of the day, all we're asking them is to fill the obligations that they're sworn under oath to do. And that's to provide a quality education in a learning environment that promotes, a personal development and academic skills. And at this point, e-learning is not providing that.
Are you sure you and your friends aren't just a bunch of potheads who want somebody else to babysit your kids?
Well, we were on social media called a bunch of crazy moms, and that just kind of made us all laugh and motivate a little bit more. If wanting to get our kids, a good education and back in school is crazy, then, call me crazy. I don't care. At this point, as we're able to get our word spread, we're trying to reach beyond just our, individual friends and community members. It's picking up exponentially, and we're hoping to have a really strong presence tonight at the board meeting. And I know that they're hearing us. I know that they're hearing us and they're listening. Some of the board members are in support of the very least, trying to get our youngest learners, K through 5, back to school and break our unit district model. But for some reason, that concept is being squashed, and it's unacceptable at this point.
And the protest you're having tonight, 5:30 to 6:30, where is it?
This is at the Geneva Administration Building, which is located at 227 North 4th Street in Geneva. Again, that's just prior to the meeting. And then after that, we urge anybody who's comfortable to get up and speak and tell the board their thoughts.
She is Emily Erickson, Geneva 304 School District out in the Western Burbs, Get Back to School campaign that she was describing parents are launching, and hopefully perhaps some of those school board members that privately support you will just demonstrate the courage to publicly state their position, which is what is needed in these times. Emily Erickson, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Bitcoin hit a capitalization of $1 trillion. Packaged food companies bypassing grocery stores. And Volkswagen in Mexico suspends Jetta production. Those stories next. Lou Dobbs here. Looking for predictable monthly cash flow? Is the potential of 10% annualized immediate monthly payout good for starters? How about bonuses targeted to 21%?